So now we can see more examples on simplification of CFG. So how to simplify a grammar, context-free grammar, that we explained in the previous video. So those who have not seen that video, just go and watch and see which are the steps to do the simplification. So in this video, we are going to see some of the examples. Okay, so let us take this example. S gives A or AA or B or C. Then A gives AB or epsilon. Then B gives AA, C gives CCD, and D gives DDD or CD. So the first step is to find the epsilon productions. So we are going to see epsilon productions and remove. So here we have only one epsilon on these right, when we check the right hand side, that is with the A. So A gives epsilon is the only production, null production we have, and we call A as a nullable variable. Okay, so A is nullable. Now what we have to do, we are going to take all the production except this A gives epsilon. Okay, so I will write down all other productions other than this A gives epsilon. Then A gives AB, epsilon I am not writing because we are removing it, AA. Then C gives small letter C, capital C, D. Then D gives D, 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 and CD. Okay, so after this what we have to do, this is here A is the nullable variable. So wherever we have A on this right hand side, we have to substitute epsilon and get new productions. So here, right. So here I am going to add new productions. So instead of this A, I will substitute and I will get A. Okay, so what happened? This A is repeated here. So I don't want to add the same production once again. So I won't repeat this A again. Okay, now we have another capital A over here. So I will substitute epsilon for this A and I will get smaller epsilon. So these are the productions after removing the epsilon production. So I'm going to remove this one. Okay, this is not necessary. That is repeated one, so we don't write it again. Okay, now the second step is to remove the unit production. Step 2 is to remove unit productions. Unit production, and see how many unit productions are here. Here we have a single variable. It's a single terminal. Okay, that is not unit production. Here this is also not unit production. Here we have a single variable B, and here we have only single variable C. So on the right side we have only B, and here we have only C. So these two are unit productions. Then you check the other productions. Here we have two symbols, here we have two symbols, here one symbol, but that is terminal. Here we have three symbols, here we have three symbols, here also two symbols. So all the others are not unit production. Here we have a single symbol and that is a variable. Here also single symbol, that is a variable. So S gives B is one unit production and S gives C is another unit production. Two unit productions we have here. And you check for B what we can substitute. For B we can substitute the right hand side. So that is, we can, instead of B we can substitute AA or A. And for C we can substitute its right hand side, like small letter C with the capital C, D. Okay, so that means, this means that instead of S gives B, we can write S gives AA or A. And instead of S gives C, I can write S gives C, small letter C, capital C, D. Okay, these are the productions we have to write. Then we need to rewrite the productions once again with this updated one. Okay, so I will write S gives A, AA. Then instead of B, I have to write AA or A. Okay, again this A is repeating there, so I need not write it again. Okay, then instead of C, I have to write C, C, D. Okay, then A gives AB, then B gives AA or A, then C gives C, C, D, then D gives D, D, D and C, capital C, D. Okay, so here A is repeated, so I will just remove this part. That A is already there. One A is already there, so we need not repeat the same production again. So I remove one of it. Okay. Now, what is the third step? Now we have to remove the useless productions. So useless productions, how we find out? To find the useless production, we have to find out we have to check every production from starting from S. So S gives A, that is already a string. So this is a useful production. Then you see S gives A, and for this A, I can substitute what I can substitute. There is only one substitution, A, B can be substituted. And for B, what we can substitute to get a string, I can substitute this terminal to get a string. So that means using S gives A, we get at least one string. So that is also useful production. Then you go for the next one. S gives A. That will also generate A. Okay, instead of A, I will substitute AB. Then for B, I substitute A. Again, I get another string with this production. So that is also useful. Now you go for the third, next fourth one. A gives small letter C, capital C, D. Okay, then you substitute for C and D. For substituting C, what happened? I will again get C, C, D. Then for D, I can substitute D, D, D. Okay, terminal I substituted. Again, we got C, D. Again, we have to substitute for this C, C. For C, it is C, C, D. Okay, and for this D, I substituted D, D, D. Okay, it goes like this. So one thing we can see, whenever I substitute for this C, I am going to get another C on the right side. Okay, whenever I substitute for C, another C will come in the string. So it will go on like that. It will never end in any string. So this is a useless production. So we can simply remove this production from our grammar. Then what is the next step? You have to see all these. A gives AB. Okay, that also we can do. Now you have to see which are the useless symbols. To find the useless symbol, you just see which are the symbols that are reachable from this S. So starting with the S, we can reach A. Okay, from S we can reach A, that is possible. And from A we can reach B, that is also possible. And from B, what happened? It will again go back to A only. There is no way to reach these two variables. C and D won't come in any derivation. If I apply any of these derivations, it will never reach the variables C and D. So we call the C and D as useless symbols. So we will remove these two productions also. That symbols are not useful, so then the productions their productions are also not useful. So this is the remaining production we have. So this is the remaining simplified production. So I will just for saving that space, I am removing all these. Okay, so these will be removed and the final answer will be this. Okay, I will remove all these. So the final answer will be this one. This is the minimized answer, simplified answer. Okay, so I removed the useless productions and useless symbols. So this is the final simplified answer. So we have removed epsilon productions, we have removed unit productions, and we have removed useless productions and symbols. So this is the answer.